Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. My name is Jake. Thank you so much for checking out this video. We're going to be looking at the top 4 match of the Tokyo One Piece TCG Championships in the OP06 format. As of right now, as you're looking on screen, maybe you know kind of what this means. You can read the hiragana on screen. We have one Katakuri left in top 4, one Enel, one Gecko Moria, and also one Yamato. We've seen some thrilling matches up to this point in previous rounds. We saw Perona, green-black Perona, first time that I've ever personally watched it in person. Very, very cool deck against Yamato. Also some Gecko Moria gameplay against some Katakuri. So we'll see exactly what this one is. This format in this tournament, this 1,500 person tournament, has definitely been super heavy in Gecko Moria. I think there were 6 Gecko Morias in top 16 most popular decks. So interested to see where this goes. You already know what the matchup is because of the title and thumbnail. I don't. So let's get into it. After this quick disclaimer, I do not own the rights to the stream. This is my own unique commentary. If you do want to watch this actual VOD, as always, the link will be not only in the description, but also in the comments below if you want to watch it without hearing me talk per se. And I do love these casters. I have really enjoyed these two, especially on Twitter as well, you know, talking and going over the matches. So definitely some valuable insight, especially if you know Japanese. But anyways, let's just get into it. And so now we've got our matchup. It is Enel versus Gecko Moria. So this will be an interesting one. I feel like, I mean, Enel is a little bit different than Katakuri because Katakuri leans so far into the big mom situation, but I'm trying to think if we did see this matchup in Miyagi. So this is kind of a rematch of swords in these two. I'm trying to remember which one won. I think it was the Gecko Moria that ended up winning that game. So very interesting. We'll see if history can repeat itself in this one as players are shuffling up. I didn't see the going first card. I didn't see where that was. So hopefully in a second. And it looks like the Gecko Moria player has opted, or maybe just is going first. I don't know if they opted to go first, but I know they are going first. That's what that card is right here for anybody who's watching the streams and doesn't know exactly what this is. This basically means going first. You see it a lot in these Japanese tournaments, but also you see it a lot in Weiss, in the Weiss Schwartz community, for anybody who also plays that game. That's very popular. The Gecko Moria player, I don't know if this is the best of hands, but it actually could be pretty manageable. You have an Ice Age, Rebecca blocker, Perona, a little bit of control-y stuff, and then the 8-drop Gecko Moiras. The reason that I say that it's probably actually manageable is because with Gecko Moria, you have that self-mill effect, and so when you're attacking, all you need is the 3-Dawn turn, which is their second turn to be able to do that. The Enel player having some Shirahoshi, 9-drop Yamato, 2-drop Sanji. That's a card that I see more and more often in Enel decks. You got a Capone in there, that alternate art, and then an Okiku, which we found out in the previous video that One Piece Top Decks has the wrong translation for Okiku. So when that comes up, I'll let you know exactly what that card does. So going in, let's see if we can do it. Maybe take a sip of my coffee before they start. All right, here we go. Oh man, I love those Dawn. I can't wait until we get Dawn like that. I cannot wait. I love all the alternate Dawns. So Gecko Moria just drawing the Dawn and passing, going into Enel's turn. Enel getting that extra draw, and with that 2-drop Sanji in hand, just going ahead and put it down. You can't attack in your turn, so might as well get a body on board to start swinging here soon. And the Gecko Moria doing the effect that I had mentioned with Dawn ×1, rest 2 Dawn, discard 1 card from your hand and put the top 2 cards of your deck in your trash and play 1 Thriller Barks Pirate character with a cost of 4 or less. from the trash. Opting for the Perona, that's a really good card to be able to get. And with that swing is going to hit that Onami. I think it was Onami with that trigger, KO to one of your opponent's 5 cost or lower characters. Really, really good actually trigger for that situation to be able to just get that Perona out. So Enel going ahead and swinging, and a trigger going right back to the Enel, the Ice Age, KOing that Sanji with that trigger, K up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 3 or less. So putting down that Okiku, which is an on KO effect. So once it gets KO'd, I'll tell you about it. As we move into Gecko Moira's 5-Dawn turn at this point. So you'd imagine that, oh my gosh, they're just going to go 8 swing at face and then do the effect as well. So very, very interesting. It looks like they did get a Dr. Hogback off that discard pile. So, but it looks like they're choosing between some stuff. I would be curious to see if it's Dr. Hogback, Kuzan, or the Perona. It looks like they're going to go Dr. Hogback, a very, very good card. On play, return 2 cards from the trash to the bottom of your deck in any order and put a Thriller Bar card from your trash into your hand. So opting to put that Perona, I think they always wanted to get the Perona back into like either the field or hand, and I think Dr. Hogback was probably the correct play, just the most efficient way, you know, getting a card in your hand, but also being able to, you know, counter out of it like they are right now. The Ikoku swinging, going to use a 2k counter. And so Enel now going to do a 6k swing. They'll take it, no trigger. It is a Rob Lucci, which could be interesting. And it looks like they're the Enel player right here. I'm trying to figure out which one this is, this Enel. Because I've got the deck list pulled up on One Piece top decks, but I'm like, wait, what? Oh, I do know what it is. It's the 5-drop Kozuki Momosuke. On play, it's a blocker. Place up to one of your Wano type characters other than this card on the top or bottom of the owner's life pile face up. So they were putting the Okiku up top. So the Gecko Moira player doing that old swing with the Gecko Moira and getting that effect down to get the Perona down basically for free, and then the Kuzan as well to draw a card and just get a lot of bodies on board. So Enel now moving into, I think, the 7-Dawn turn at this point. Trying to see what they have in hand. They have the 200 million volt Amaru, which we saw in the last video how valuable that is. Okiku gonna swing, gonna force another 2k counter with the Suru. I wonder if the Gecko Moira is not really focused on the board cost at all. I don't know. But going to be swinging 5 and taking that, and then the blocker swinging the Momosuke. Interesting. Going to be playing a Katakuri, putting, oh, looks like we've got a real quick fixer-upper. He really did chuck that though. See, look at this momentum that he passes. I wish we could get a slow motion. Can we get like a slow motion? And so it just throws all of his cards. You know what? I've been there, done that. It doesn't look like a great Gecko Moria game from the looks of it at this point. So, you know, I've definitely had maybe moments like that. So I think they're just going to shuffle it in. Oh no, they're still figuring it out. We got to go ahead. All right, so going into this hand, they do have a couple blockers, the Gecko Moria, 2 Rebecca's to be able to get different characters on the board potentially, but no 3-drop characters. That's the problem with Rebecca right now in this hand, is you don't have any 3-drop characters that you can put on the field. You do, though, however, have the Hina in the discard pile. So if you do the discard effect from the leader ability on the Hina, discard the Hina, you could Rebecca it right back if you wanted to, but I don't know like what kind of value you get out of that, because you're in what, the 8-Dawn turn now, so that would be, you have to commit at least 3 Dawn to that play. So They're going to start out, though, with a 5 swing. Going to take it. I don't think they're feeling too pressured right now. I will say the Enel, it could go south very quickly, but they do have the Momosuke there that they're eyeing up. They do have the 2K Capone guy, and then they're just going to take that life and then use leader effect to add another one. So that's why Enel is really, really tough, just constantly resupplying life, it feels like. And so in order to swing for game, you need another good swing, because like right now, the Gecko Moria in a normal deck, like Katakuri, for example, Gecko Moria could swing for game, but with Enel and how strong Enel's effect is, it just replenishes, and now the Gecko Moria can't go for game. So I think the play definitely is to maybe go for blockers at this point. I think you could use your just going to be swinging 5, so not going to be using that effect. I wonder if they have 8 Dawn, is they're only out to get 2 blockers, the double Rebekahs? Because that could... Oh no, it looks like they have more than that. It looks like they have Rebekah and Sabo, so it looks like 9 Dawn. Oh yeah, that's right, because the Gecko Moria is on an odd curve. So the Rebekah opting for that Hina, and then probably going to be a rest 5 for Sabo. Yep, draw some cards, protect your characters with effects, and discard some things that you're not going to need. Double Gecko Moria, okay. I don't know if I would have expected that, but the Gecko Moria doesn't have counter. The Suru being kept, the Rob Lucci also being kept. I think I'm more so surprised about the Rob Lucci being kept instead of the Gecko Moria, because the Gecko Moria can really help you with your loops, but maybe it's just too much Dawn to be trying to do that. So there's going to be a Yamato going to be popping a character. No, wait, Yamato doesn't pop a character in this scenario, because the Yamato is like cost equal to or less than the total life of you and your opponent. So at the time it was only 3, so there's no 3 costs. Well, there is a 3 cost on the board, but it can't be KO'd by Sabo, so never mind. Anyways, continuing to go in after that Yamato play, they're going to swing 5 and just block with that, keeping the Sabo alive, using that first. And now Enel, again, just being strong and building up life to this point. So there's probably, I would think there's going to be an Okiku swing here. I think you could, are you not going to swing 7 with Okiku? What is this 1 Dawn for? So they're going to swing 6 into it, and so you've got a couple options. I don't know if you really want to lose Rebekah at this point. You do have to block this Katakuri potentially. There's also the Momosuke. They have swung with it earlier. They could swing with it again. And it looks like they're going to ditch the Perona 1K counter. Or I'm sorry, 2K counter. Is Perona a 2K counter? It is a 2K counter. Wow, what a broken card. So Enel here are going to be swinging the 8, and so now the Gecko Moria player deciding what they want to do on this. I would think about maybe taking it at this point. 8 is a little bit more than you want to go over, and to be honest, I kind of want to... do I want to keep the Rebekah though? Because you already have those 3 swinging options there, and so you can only have 2 other characters on the field. I think it would depend on whether or not you want to play the Rebekah this turn. You do have the option to potentially get rid of a character because of the Rob Lucci that's in hand and the Ice Age. You'd probably only be able to get rid of 1, but it is something. So opted to taking the Rebekah swing, probably afraid of something like a Big Mom coming soon, but going to be drawing for turn, and now at all 10 done. Let's see how this Gecko Moria player plays out the turn. They did draw into a Sabo, which is really, really good. I do like Sabo in this situation. It is a 5 Dawn cost, so they could still potentially do the Kuzan play. But again, I'm not sure exactly where the, like what, oh my gosh, and the Capone Beijing opting to nullify an attack off the trigger. Just a typical yellow trigger right there. But swinging 5 now with the Hina. Just going to be doing a bunch of smaller swings before they commit all this down. And I don't hate this play, to be honest. So you've got that draw right there and then leader effects. So one thing that I think you do now as the Gecko Moria player, I wonder if they have the opportunity now to KO the blocker with the Rob Lucci and the Ice Age and then swing for the rest, because they have to swing 2 more times. They've got 5 Dawn to commit. I wonder if they go in and they try to use the Rob Lucci to KO the blocker and then just hit 2 times with the Dr. Hogback and the Gecko Moria. Now, one thing that we do know, and I'm not 100% sure about, is which character did the Capone say, okay, this character can't attack? Was it the Hogback or was it the Sabo? If I had to take a guess, it's probably the Hogback, because the Hogback, oh no, it is the Sabo, I guess. Or maybe it's the Gecko Moria that can't swing. Could be that as well. But anyways, the Dr. Hogback sticks, bringing them down to 1 more life. Only 3 cards in hand. So putting up that Rebecca there and now putting down the Sabo. Going to be replacing the Hina. The Hina did its job, going for a little bit of life. Is that a Kairos right there? What was that 1 drop that they just got? They did end up pitching the Borsalino. So the 1 drop, I think that's a Victoria Sindri right there. One of the new cards in OP06. Very, very good for the early game in the leader or the Thriller Bark Pirates deck, trashing the top 5 cards of the deck, but probably not going to be needed in this scenario. So the Enel player now got a lot of big bodies to swing. Going to be swinging 8. I think this is probably at the Dr. Hogback. I don't know if this is at life. They do have some cards in the hand. They've got a Hioria, a Gadatsu, I saw in there, the 200 million volts Amaru. So the Gecko Moria player opting to potentially save this swing. It is going to be an 8K swing, so it's going to be Perona and Sindri, so 3K worth of counters. So swinging now with the Okiku at 8. Just another really good 8K swing. This one's going to be at the Dr. Hogback. I think they're deciding between letting it go and Rebecca, and I think Rebecca is a fine option at this point, because the Dr. Hogback is more valuable in the swings, per se. Now, committing 3 Dawn to the Enel for another AK swing, you know that there's not going to be any extra whatchamacallit, lives coming in from Big Mom effects. And so with a 9K swing that's left, they're going to be pushing that 9K swing into probably Perona, if I had to take a guess. Enel player just trying to clear and control board at this point to minimize the amount of swings, unless they want to commit blockers, because if this goes into the long game, I don't know if Gecko Moria can win this pace of play. So it looks like it was going into life though, and they're just going to take a Perona. The Perona having some good effects with the KOing characters, and they are going to play that Momosuke there to once again put the Okiku on the top of life. I totally forgot that character, that blocker there, puts a Wano type character on the top of life. So very, very good for more self-sufficiency. It's definitely an interesting card that I don't remember if we saw in the last time that we saw Enel players, but definitely one that I think you should include if you have a Wano type package with the Okikus, with the whatchamacallit, the Yamatos in there, the Hiyori. Definitely some good options in the land of Wano cards that you have in this deck. And so Gecko Moria are now really thinking about what they want to do. I do think this is a tricky situation. You are out of blockers at this point, and no other character that you can put down can help you attack. So looking to do 5, and this 5 would probably What would this 5 be? Looks like they maybe do an Ice Age here. Looks like they're going to Ice Age probably to the, yep, that Momosuke there, that blocker. Probably going to be using 4 now for the Perona to be able to discard and KO. And it looks like they're going to go 9 swing, rest 2 Dawn. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to discard the top 2 cards, grab that card. I say that card because I don't know what that card is. It looks like this is the Absalom. KO up to character with a cost of 2 or less if you return 2 cards from your trash to your deck in any order. So getting rid again of that Momosuke, and then there is 3 Dawn left now in this turn after dodging that swing, and now swinging 8 into Enel with the Perona in there. Really interesting that they didn't opt to play the Perona. But I guess the Perona isn't as valuable. It's probably more valuable as a 2K counter in this situation, because Perona, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, choose one of the following. They don't have 5 or more cards in their hand, so it's probably actually more valuable to have it as a 2K counter. But now with 2 cards in their hand, they do have one really, really good card in their hand, the 200 million volts Amaru, which I do see them probably getting the W, I feel like, right here. I feel like this is the win turn if you're the Enel, as long as you play this correctly. You have so many good swinging bodies on board. You do have that power up. The resting of the 200 million volt Amaru doesn't matter because the Sabos are 5, but you could still potentially swing over them. And so starting off with the 9K Yamato, they are going to be taking that life, just putting it in their hand. The Kuzan doesn't have any counter or anything like that, but it does save a blocker. So we'll see how this continues in here. They're spreading their Dawn out by 2s, going to be swinging another 9 with Katakuri. Now, let's see. They do have 6K worth of counters in hand. So with 9 Dawn left as your Gecko Moria, you're just going to block it. You're not even going to save the block. I think you're saving your counter power for when they actually swing. So 2 swings left. They are going to have to maximize this amount, enough Dawn to commit to make sure that they either need to use all of their counters or none of their counters and use a block instead. So this is going to be, I think, another 9K. No, this is a 10K swing, because Momonosuke is a 10K counter, or 10. It's a 6 base power attacker swinging for 10K. Blah, 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 blah. And anyways, now Enel going in here, still 1 blocker up, which I think is why he's really thinking about what exactly he wants to do. I think really just choosing between opting to save. He's thinking about, I think, saving the 200 volt Samaru. Why is he leaving 1 Dawn open? And there's that Enel swing right there. Going to be getting rid of that Sabo. Are they like fainting? What are they fainting with the 1 Dawn? I have the deck list pulled up of this Enel player because it's already in One Piece top decks, and they don't have anything in their deck. I'm trying to think. Maybe is there like another Enel like card that was played previously that is very, very popular? It looks like they're, oh, I thought they were putting all 10 Dawn on the Perona, but they could be fainting like Nari Kabura Arrow, I would say, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter as much on that. So the Perona swinging and hitting, forcing the Okiku out. You definitely hate to see it. Swinging with the Absalom. I was going to say, I forget the name of that card. It's a bunch of characters all together. So going to be swinging 6, going to be countering out of it and not looking good. They're just going to put all the Dawn on the Gecko Moria and swing. I feel like they've pretty much I don't want to say give it up, but I think they know what their fate is at this point. It looks like Enel is going to be piloting to the finals. You see him playing so fast right now. He is just going to be putting all of his Dawn on Yamato, swinging for 19k. And although I don't like yellow decks, especially Enel and Katakuri, we will actually see that one. And that was an interesting game indeed. Very, very cool. Very exciting to see that Enel player go off in that one to show the strength of kind of the Wano package. And I really did like the Wano package in general from this group of cards, this deck of cards, because of the flexibility of the Momonosuke. I think the Momonosuke is a really, really good card in this deck, and I think just playing a bunch of other like really, really good yellow cards just worked out really, really well in their favor. So next video, we're going to see Enel in the finals, but what will it take on? I can tell you right now, I actually know what it is because, well, I'm recording this the morning after because I didn't want to stay up until 4 a.m. in Las Vegas time. So the next video is going to be Enel versus Yamato. I'm very, very excited for that because I want to play Yamato in OP06 and I hate Katakuri and Enel, so hopefully the Yamato player can win. I don't know who the winner is at this point in this recording. I've only made sure to look at the decks that were in the finals, not necessarily the result of it. But thank you so much for watching. Ooh, a new Viola character, a blocker. That's a blocker Viola right there. Interesting. You can check out a bunch of the other cards announced from the official stream. Again, links in the description below, and I will see you later.